Found out that I'm the other woman and I'm married. And no, before anyone asks, this is not one of those situations where I cheated or I knew or that I ignored red flags on purpose. That's actually the part that's messing with my head the most because I really thought that I was the wife. I mean, I am the wife. Legally, emotionally, all of it. At least I thought I was. So let me back up because context matters here, of course. My husband and I have been together for a very long time. We didn't rush anything. We dated, we lived together, we built like a routine, a life. We had our own little traditions, like the same shows we watched together. We shopped at the same place. We had such a dedicated life. It was just so beautiful and normal. Nothing about my life felt fake. And I think that's why this hit me so hard. Because this didn't start with some like huge dramatic moment. It started with something so little, so small, almost stupid. Started to guard his phone more, not in a dramatic way, like not hiding it under pillows or anything like that. It was more subtle, like turning the screen slightly so that I wouldn't be able to see it. Stuff you can easily explain with a simple explanation. Stuff you can easily explain away if you love someone or they feel a little paranoid. And you don't want them to be paranoid. And that's exactly what I did. I explained it away. I told myself he's stressed from work, he works too much, all of those excuses that you make. And so I simmered it down to I'm overthinking. Because, of course, that's what you do when nothing else in your marriage feels wrong. It was like he was physically there, but mentally he was definitely somewhere else. Like he was catching up on a life that I just wasn't a part of. I remember thinking, like, maybe this is just what long-term marriage looks like, which is also a scary thought in the hindsight. So, here's the thing. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't like digging and I wasn't trying to catch him. It was just one night I needed a document. Like I think it was like an insurance document. And his email was logged into our Apple computer. Which isn't weird because we always had each other's stuff like that. But I searched for the document. Something else came up. An email thread. And the subject line wasn't something like flirty, it wasn't catchy to the point where I almost didn't read it. Almost. I'm not going to read messages or anything like that, but I will say this. It didn't sound like an affair, it sounded like a marriage. It was the tone, the familiarity, like the way that she talked to him and the way that he responded. There wasn't like secrecy in the language. There was nothing like, no, we shouldn't be doing this. No guilt. It was definitely domestic. Plans, jokes, routines, travel, all of it. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, why is this woman talking to my husband like she has rights to him? And at first I thought maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I'm misreading the context. Maybe she's exaggerating her role in his life because this happens, right? Sometimes people read into things. So I kept reading, not to invade privacy, but just to get more of an understanding of things. I needed to understand what the fuck I was looking at. And that's when I seen something that made my stomach drop. She mentioned a trip that I recognize, that he told me he went on alone. That's where I'm going to stop for now. Because what I found after that completely changed how I see my marriage, my judgment, and honestly, myself.
I'm not gonna lie. Starting to look like if your person is going on trips by themselves, that's a red flag. I don't know. maybe it's just me. I wouldn't want to take a trip without without my lady. I don't so understand how people take trips by themselves because I'm an inside person. You need to take a person who gonna at least go out, who want to push you to go outside. If I go on trips by myself, I probably won't even go outside. I probably go get some food, probably go out and look at the sky a little bit, touch a tree, literally, and then go back in. Because what else is life about, really? When it's time to travel. Now they may be going some other places, but damn, man, it's just like, what do you think? You think people like, what do you think about a person just taking a trip? If I took a trip by myself, you probably wouldn't even care.
I think it's just all about trust, honestly. And like you said, I know you're not about to go out and party or nothing, so
I hate to say
unless
it,
you're
y'all.
doing house calls.
I mean, no.
But
don't doubt me now. Don't doubt me.
I don't think as long as you trust your partner, I don't think it's weird to do solo trips. As long as there's 100% trust and that when you get out there, the communication is open. But if you're going out solo and then now you got lack of communication and being iffy, and then it's like, nah. But at the end of the day, you do not own your person, so you cannot control what they do. Free will. But
no, man, I'm just saying the last person who just went out of town by himself got married. I'm sorry, I sound like I said I got a whole married. I mean, like got whole married, like damn, can't come back for that. But got married, right? So I'm just saying, be careful out there.
I do want to say though, I could see why she wasn't really worried about him cheating. Like when you've been married so long or been in a long-term relationship and everything's just going smooth, no red flags, nothing. It's like, why am I looking? There's nothing to look for if I don't feel like anything's off. But yeah, him kind of shifting the way he views his phone and stuff like that, it would have alarms going on. So that's kind of a reason why I would check. But I see why she didn't, like, go searching.
Man, I'm so new millennium, I ain't even think to check no damn emails. Goodness gracious. Like, it tells a lot about the age group right here that we do. Because emailing is crazy. We be now through the notes, that's the new generation type of sneaking around. But through email,
I would have never found that.
I would have never found that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And I need to tell this in pieces because I feel like it's a lot. And I know that if I don't slow down, I'm going to skip a lot of very important pieces of information. So yeah, that's part one. And if you're thinking there's absolutely no way that things can get worse, that's what I thought too. Okay, so after I found that email, I didn't react right away. I kind of just stared at it. Because like I said, it wasn't flirty, it wasn't sexual, it was domestic, it was normal. Simple stuff like, can you grab almond milk on the way home? And I remember thinking this has to be a mistake. Maybe this is a coworker. Maybe they're fucking role playing. I have no idea. This is what I was thinking. But then I kept scrolling. And that's when my stomach fucking dropped. There were photos. There was an attachment. And in the attachment, it was photos. Family photos. Nothing like trashy, nothing scandalous. Family photos. There was one of him at the beach with her, with his arms around her, wearing the same glasses. They were both wearing the same glasses. And they were the exact same glasses that him and I bought the year before. And to provide context, she wasn't flashy. She wasn't like an Instagram model. She was a normal woman who, for some odd reason, was very similar to me. Same age range, same hairstyle, like very normal, everyday girl. And the timestamp on the photo was one of the weeks that he told me he was going to be in Alabama for work. But the photo was tagged in LA. So now I'm not breathing normally. I'm scrolling faster. And like I said, they're not sneaking around. They're planning things. Anniversaries, date nights, mortgage payments. Call the fucking contractor about the guest bathroom. Guest bathroom. We don't even have a guest bathroom. Which obviously means he has another house. I start checking dates against our calendar because maybe I'm dramatic, right? Maybe this just looks bad. No. Every single work trip lines up with a memory that they're discussing. And here's the part that broke something in me. On my birthday, The one where he said that his flight got delayed and he felt so terrible because he had to miss dinner. He sent her flowers that same day, and there was an email confirmation within his email that said, "Happy 6 years, my love." It was a confirmation receipt from the flower delivery. We've been married 5 years. So now I'm doing math I never wanted to, never imagined I'd be doing. And I realized something fucking horrifying. He didn't cheat on one of us. He built 2 fucking marriages at the same time. 2 full lives.
Nah, I think he cheated on you, Mel. No, it sounds like you. If you do the math, technically, he knew her a year longer than you. So, just throwing that out there. Is he a trucker or something? I thought he was a trucker. They should say he was on a plane. 'Cause I'm like, what kind of business? How many business trips can we take a year? I just want to know. Curiosity. Like, how many times can a man go on a trip
It kind of
by
sounds
itself
like
without being alarming?
it kind of sounds like the other woman, because yeah, it seems like he knows the other woman beforehand. It's like
Yeah.
some people don't expect marriage or want marriage, so maybe that's why you end up being the wife and not her. And you probably just had
No, I
more.
think she is the wife. I think I think he married to both of them.
I don't even think you can legally do that.
Who said they did it legally?
But she said him and her are married legally. These 2 right here.
Yeah.
So she probably expected marriage and has these high expectations, and the other woman is more like, oh, I just want trips. I just want the house. I don't have to see you every day. Some women just expect less, and men will go with the option that they don't have to do more. And this woman here probably wanted the marriage and wanted the stability. And once somebody gets something, it's like, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe that's just not. He thought he wanted a marriage. He thought he wanted to settle down. It seems like like you said, in marriages sometimes it starts to drift off. Sometimes people get bored. It becomes a routine. So it's like, oh well, here's a little excitement. That's my opinion on this.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that one, man. You're a grown ass man. Talking about
Yeah,
maybe he want to be married, maybe he don't. Motherfucker, make up your mind.
I mean, he
At the end
got
of the
both.
day, yeah. At the end of the day, this is wicked. I mean, at least he got. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to say to defend that shit. That's crazy.
2 women folding his laundry, cooking him dinner, doing all the things that married women do for their husbands at the same time. Of course, thinking that they're the only one. And I didn't cry like everybody's saying. Yes, I remained calm, very calm, which was very weird because normally I am someone who overreacts, but I was calm because now I have to come up with a strategy. So I closed the email. Of course, after I took pictures of everything that I had seen on my own phone, I took the pictures on my phone, so I had my own little evidence. I also created another email at that time that I forwarded the messages to and then went and deleted the sent emails from his, just so that I can have like proof when the time came. And of course, I log out to make it look like I have no knowledge or even had access to this. So he calls that night from Alabama, completely normal. I'm like, hey, babe, how's your hotel? He said, it's fine, it's boring, I miss you. I almost laughed. Instead, I said, I miss you too. So I asked him, okay, well, what did you have for dinner? He said, well, I ordered some room service and a bottle of wine and I'm staying in. But earlier that day in his email, I saw the confirmation for the beachfront dinner that he had for a table for 2 with a bottle of wine. So I'm playing along. I'm not confronting him yet because if he's living 2 lives this smoothly, there's more that I need to know and I want to find out. So I search for her social media and my blood starts to boil. Well, it doesn't boil, it runs cold, but I look at her social media and she believes she's married to him too. Well, she is married to him too. There were wedding photos, ceremony, dresses, a completely different date than mine, of course. But guess what? Guess who officiated the wedding? the same man who officiated ours. They got married in a different state, different venue, and of course, different years. And her bio said wife, mom, dog. We don't even have a dog. She does, though. And the dog's name is a name that he suggested for one of our children. Do I message her? Do I message her? Because if I message her, I feel like I'm going to blow up everything. But if I wait, I can gather proof. And here's where it gets crazy. The next morning, I wake up and I get a notification from our bank. A large transfer to an account that I have no idea of. I don't even recognize it. And the memo line says school deposit. School? We don't pay for our children to go to school. So tell me why I just found out that my husband possibly has another wife and other children. And I haven't even scratched the surface. Part 3 is when I decide to message her and how she responds. And trust me, her response is not what I expected. So I didn't sleep that night, not because I was crying, but because my brain would not shut off. Because if there's a school deposit, there must be a child. And if there's a child, this isn't just betrayal, this is a whole nother life. So by 6 a.m. the next morning, I had already made up my mind that I'm going to message her. But I wasn't going to accuse her, because what if she's just as in the dark as I am? So I drafted a message probably 10 times, deleted it, rewrote it, made it less aggressive, less emotional, less unhinged. Finally, I sent a text message that said, hey, I know this sounds strange, but I believe we might be married to the same person. I'm not here to attack you, but I think we need to talk. And right when I sent it, I just threw my phone across the bed like it burned me. I fully expected her to block me, call me crazy, or send screenshots to him. Instead, she replied in 7 minutes. 7 minutes. And her message was just, what's your husband's name? My stomach dropped, because if she was confident, I feel like she would have said his name to me. So I sent his whole name. First, middles, and last. And then I waited. This time it took a little longer. 30 minutes went by, an hour went by, and then finally my phone rang. Not a text message, not a phone call, a FaceTime from her. I almost didn't answer, but I needed to see her face. And when I answered, she looked like she hadn't slept either. No makeup, her eyes were red, shaky breathing, similar to how I was feeling. And the first thing she said was, how long have you guys been married? Not who are you? Is this a joke? How long? And I told her 5 years. She took a deep swallow and said that they've been married for 6 years. 6 years. So she was first. Or at least earlier. Then she asked me something so weird and it made my heart pound. She said, what does your wedding ring look like? Weird, right? So I held mine up to the camera. And she went off camera. She came back and held hers up to the camera. And I can't help but laugh, but they were identical.
This is the craziest story time I've ever heard in my life. And it really is just getting worse. You named my child after a dog. That probably was icing on the cake for me.
I did not see that coming. I'm honestly confused on how you can marry more than one person. I know people do it in different religions, but how
Fuck
legally?
all that. Fuck all
What
that.
do you mean?
How did he manage to do it with child knowing it for 6 years? That's what everybody want to know. How is this possible? How rich is this man? Fuck all that.
That
Fuck
part.
all that. How is this possible?
He's paying for houses, trips, multiple children,
James Bond ain't got shit on him.
weddings, multiple weddings,
Double O
multiple wedding
Seven
rings.
himself. This is
Nah.
crazy. And it just gets worse and worse. He found a twin, literally. Gave her the same ring, the same house, named the kids after the dog. So this people they got matching names
And
in each
so,
household.
but you know why I
Oh,
think he did? And so he won't forget. Because you
man.
can't slip up.
His password gotta be 1234 or some shit. Cause this is damn near, but he pulled it off for 4 or 5 years. 6 years. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it. I don't.
I mean,
That's a
because who
master
checks the
manipulator.
emails?
I mean, but shit, I'm about to shit. I'm about to start telling people to check emails. You think he cheat? Check his emails. Shit. How old is he? Because at this point, it's really how old is he? And then, okay, go check the email. Don't check no thread. Don't check no nothing. Check the emails. But these niggas having whole wives.
Oh,
2.
man.
He was married to one of them, so she's the second wife.
I would have been hurt. Like, you had to get us identical rings. Like, you went to the same
Hurt ain't even a
store.
word, boy. I would have been dead. Passed away. No way. We going together. It's getting that crazy at this point.
The same custom engraving, the same bands, but different dates. And it made me sick, like physically sick. And then she asked, does he travel for work? I nodded. Her laugh wasn't like funny. It was like a hollow laugh. Then she said something that I feel, and it is, that made it a little worse. She said, we have a daughter. And she turned the camera slightly and showed a little girl sitting at a little table who had to be about 4 years old max. And that poor little girl, she had his eyes. She was identical. And I swear I had to mute myself because I could not breathe. 4 years old, which means that she was born a year after we got married. So while I was setting up for our new apartment, he was in the delivery room waiting for his baby to be born. And I finally asked her, does he leave town a lot for work? She nodded and said consulting trips 2 to 3 times a month. So I started listing my dates. Now we're both doing the math out loud. And here's the part that I think makes it worse. He didn't overlap sloppily. He rotated us like a schedule, like a custody agreement, except we were both the wives. And then she said something that shifted everything. She said he told her that he has been married before and it ended very badly because she cheated. And I just stared at her because he told me the same exact story about her. So he villainized both of us to each other for years. We were both the crazy ex in his story while actively being married to him. And then she asked me the question that I felt like I wanted to ask her as well. Are you legally married? And then that's when I realized I hadn't even checked. We both assumed that we were, but what if only one of us is? What if one marriage is real and the other is fake? And if that's the case, which one of us is the placeholder? So now we're not just 2 betrayed women. We're 2 women trying to legally find out, or trying to find out who's legally tied to the man that's living a double life. And before we hung up, she said, I think we need to compare documents, marriage license, tax returns, everything. And then she said something that honestly scared me. He's supposed to be home tomorrow. Home? Which home? Because he told me he was coming home to me tomorrow. And if he doesn't show up there, then I'll know exactly where he really lives. So part 4, that's when we decide whether we confront him separately or together. And trust me, what we found in these documents made this so much bigger than just 2 wives. So after that FaceTime, I just sat there because now this wasn't just a theory. She's real. Her daughter was real. Her ring was real. And tomorrow he was supposed to come home. But we still didn't know exactly what home that was. We made a plan. Not emotional, not dramatic, strategic. We were going to compare documents before he landed, marriage license first. Because if one of us isn't legally married, that changes everything. So I pulled mine out of the safe, took a picture, and sent it over to her. A few minutes later, she sent hers. Same efficient, same signature style, different counties, different states, but they looked identical. Both had seals, both had the filing numbers, and that's when she said she's going to check the county databases. I didn't even know you could do that. Apparently, you can look up filed marriage license in some states. So we each checked. Mine came up. Filed, recorded, valid. She also checked hers. Also filed, also recorded. Oh, come on. Also valid, which means he didn't fake one. He somehow legally married 2 different women in 2 different states, years apart. So either the system failed or he lied about being divorced, which he wasn't. And then it hit me. Divorce decrees. We both had asked him for one when we were planning on getting married. He had paperwork. I remember glancing at it, but not studying it. And she said she did the same thing. So we pulled those out too. And this is where it gets insane. The divorce decree that he showed me had her maiden name on it. The divorce decree that he showed her had my maiden name on it. But the case numbers were slightly different. And then we searched hers in the database. Nothing came up. So then I searched mine. Nothing. They looked real, but they were never filed, which means he forged divorce documents for both of us to marry us both legally. At least that's what it looked like. Now I'm not just dealing with cheating. This is fraud.
At this point, go check and see if he on them Epstein files. Cause what the hell? He is living life, ain't he? Like, who teaches you? How did he learn this? Like, what? I'm just blown away. I've never been blown away, like speechless towards some actions. Like, I done heard some crazy stuff on this channel, man. But this has to be the wildest. So you fake married him. He married them both legally, divorced them both. So y'all both ain't really married to him.
And they said it was forged, so the divorce papers weren't real.
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
Y'all not in the database. It had to be real. And illegal. Oh,
I'm so confused because when you filing taxes, like
he know how to pick them. I'll tell you that. He
how
know
is
how to
that
pick 'em.
working?
You couldn't get no shit like that over this one. Nah.
Like,
You know how to
what?
pick them, boy.
No,
That's crazy.
they must be like, I ain't trying to sound rude, but like trained. Like, so the kids don't even want to call you at random moments to say goodnight and nobody's peeping what's going on? Or is everybody just like, oh, I trust him? Do you, boo?
I would be shocked if he on them files with the president, man. At this point, shit. He done been to that island.
My thing is, why?
He got an island.
What was the reason? So many people, this is why I don't get. If you're going to cheat, then just remain single and be a bachelor. Why are you out marrying and creating families? This just, you chose this. It's just not making sense.
Honestly, I just want to know if anybody in the comment section, we got a pretty older audience, pretty mature audience. Have y'all ever experienced anything like this before? Or even heard of anything like this before? Let us know, please.
This is criminal. And she's quiet for a minute. Then she says he's supposed to land at 4:10 tomorrow. And of course, my heart dropped because my flight itinerary says 4:10 as well. Same airline, same airport, different story. He told me he was coming back from Alabama, but he told her he was coming back from Atlanta. So we checked the flight number. Same flight. He's not flying from 2 different places. He's flying from one. And neither of us knew which city he's actually flying from. So we agreed to both go to the airport. but not together, not to be obvious. We would stay on the phone with each other to see where he walks, to see who he looks for, and that would tell us everything. So the next day comes, it felt so unreal. I clean the house like I normally do when he's coming home. Muscle memory, like habit type of thing. I even made his favorite dinner. At 3:45, I left for the airport. She texted me that she was already there. We stayed on FaceTime but muted. Flight land. Passengers start to come out. And then I see him. Same jacket he left in, same duffel bag, same casual smile. He looked so relaxed, not stressed, not guilty, just normal. And then he starts to scan the crowd. And for a split second, he literally glanced over me like I'm not who he's looking for. My heart drops because he keeps walking past baggage claim, past the exit that I'm standing near. And I hear her breathing change through the phone because he's walking towards her side of the terminal. And then I see it. He spots someone. He spots someone. His whole face changes. It softens. He smiles the way that he smiles at me. He opens his arms. But it's not me he's walking towards. He's walking towards her. So she whispers into the phone. He sees me. So now I'm standing in the airport watching my husband reunite with his other wife. And I have no choice. Do I walk up or do I just let him leave with her? And do I follow them? Because if I follow him, I'll know exactly where they live together. I followed him. And what I found, I was not prepared for. Part 5 is where I decide. And I promise you, the house changed everything. So I didn't walk up to them, though, of course, every part of me wanted to. I wanted to tap him on the shoulder and just say, "How was Alabama?" But I didn't. Because if I confronted him there in public, he could lie, he could spin it, he could manipulate. And I needed the truth without the performance. So I whispered in the phone to her. I just said, "Go. Act normal. I'm going to follow you." And she barely nodded. I could see her trying to steady herself before she hugged him. And watching him hug her, it was like watching him hug me. Same hand placement on the back, same forehead kiss, same "I missed you." And he took her bag like he always takes mine, opened the car door for her. Same car model as ours, just a different color. And I hung back. I got in my car and I followed, of course, at a distance. And this whole time, she's still on the FaceTime. She just has the phone in her cup holder slightly at an angle so that I'm able to still get a glimpse of him in the passenger seat. He was acting so normal. Laughing, talking, normal. And I kept thinking, like, how do you switch personalities so easily, so quickly? Or is this the real personality and I'm the alternate? Now, they didn't drive far, literally, probably about 15 minutes. It was a suburban neighborhood, very quiet, very clean, like the type of neighborhood that you would see kids riding around on their bikes in the middle of the street. And they pulled into their driveway, 2-story white house, black shutters, very modern, beautiful. There was a basketball hoop over their garage. And when the garage door opened, I felt sick because inside was a workbench with his tools, not duplicates, his tools. I remember because there was a dent on the red toolbox because he dropped it when we were moving into our new home. The same dent. So this wasn't a second setup. This is shared equipment, a shared life. So he got out the car and stretched like, of course, he just came home from a really long trip. And then the front door swung open. And that little girl came running out, screaming daddy, clear as day. And she jumped into his arms like she had done it 100 times. And of course, he picked her up without hesitation, normal. And I just sat there in the car watching, gripping the steering wheel, hands shaking, sweating, because now it's not a theory. He lives there. That's not a vacation wife. That's not an occasional arrangement. That's his house.
She better than me. I would have threw some shit. I would have threw something at her. I'm trying to figure out, well, how did he not see you? You know what I mean? It sounded like she was just right behind him. Like she said she could have touched him on the shoulder at one point of this story time. Like, what was, you better than me. I could not see that. This is when I break up and I block everything. I only want to see what they do after I leave because you just know it's about to be, and then you just sitting there in real time. Like, oh, I would have ruined that moment. Shit, I would have went to go fill up some water balloons. Before he even got to his daughter, he would have seen right across his shit. And it would have been filled with pain. Because it would have been like, what are you talking about? He living in a night. If I find out the house is nicer than yours, that's really gonna be the nail in the coffin for me. Because I just feel like that's what we're getting to. I want to know what he got you living in at this point.
I think that's kind of why they got the same ring too, so they can't be like, well, mine's is better. No, it's the exact same one.
Man, that man went shopping and was like, I'm just gonna get her the same stuff that I got my first wife. Like he just kept it simple. He already knew the budget for it. He already knew, like, oh my goodness. I've never seen this type of narcissism in my life.
I get why they have to be strategic because they are married and they do have kids and like all of the stuff in each other's name. But man, once I seen them emails, I wouldn't even be able to hold water. I'd be like, I ain't gonna say nothing. Man, it would have been eating me up.
But you know what's so crazy about this whole thing is that they think they're married. They married him, but he secretly divorced them. So if something was to happen to him, they would then learn that they don't get shit. It goes straight to his kids because they're not legally married.
I don't think the divorce papers were real. I think they said it was forged. Like they couldn't find those numbers. But
she was saying. So she said that the divorce papers was fake. Like they never went through the system.
Like he sent them
because he can't legally marry two people though.
Yeah, but that's why I'm so confused on this whole ordeal.
Somebody make that make sense in the comment section. I know some of y'all like to be like, "Oh, you so wrong. That's not what they said." Well, it's different when you get to sit there and rewind the fucking story and hear what they said again, and then come back in the comment section. He didn't say that. Well, fuck, nigga, we thought he did. Okay.
Yeah, I got the test book with the open.
Right. Somebody sit in the comment section, watch this video right now. Can't wait to say I was wrong about some shit. Like, you got to rewind the video, jackass. We watching this for the first time, but let us know, please. Let us know. Am I tripping?
And I started to realize something that I think hurt it more than the cheating. He seems way more settled there. There were toys in the yard, a bike with training wheels, wind chimes. It looked so established, like lived in, permanent, homey. So they go inside and she ended the FaceTime call, but she texted me immediately. She said, he's acting normal, like nothing's wrong. Of course he is. He doesn't know that we know. So now I'm sitting outside of her house, well, their house, like we're texting each other, like this is some type of operation. And then she sends me something and it changed everything. She texted, wait. A minute later, she said, he just mentioned next month. Okay, next month, what? Apparently, he told her that he has a conference coming up out of state for 5 days. And the dates? Our anniversary. The one that he told me he already booked a weekend trip for us. So he planned to celebrate our anniversary with me while telling her that he'd be working. And at that point, I didn't even feel confused anymore. I felt angry because this isn't even messy. It's so calculated. He schedules us, rotates holidays, alternate trips. We're not accidents. We're like freaking compartments. And then she texts me. She asked me if I wanted to come over to their house. And I remember staring at the text for a very long time because walking into their house, that makes this way too real in a way that I can't undo. But if I do go inside, I'll see how much of his life is actually there. So I pulled into the driveway, and before I had the time to overthink it, she opens the door. And I stepped into the house that my husband lives in. And the first thing I saw, huge wedding photos, beautifully framed, hanging on the walls. And guess who was in the front row, smiling? My mother-in-law. Smiling like this was the only marriage that existed. So now I don't just have a husband with 2 wives. I have a mother-in-law who knows. And suddenly this is bigger than just him. Part 6 is when I find out exactly who has been lying to me the entire time. And trust me, I was the only one who didn't know. So I walked into the house trying to act calm, but the moment the door closed, my knees were like so weak. Because like I said, the house didn't feel temporary. It felt like so established. There were family photos everywhere. Holiday pictures with the matching pajamas, pumpkin patch photos, first day of school photos, preschool. Let me be clear about that. And in almost every single one, my mother-in-law, front and center, smiling, holding that little girl like it was her only granddaughter. And I turned to her, the other wife, and I just said, "Does his mom visit often?" And she looked confused. And she said, "Of course. She visits very often. She only lives 20 minutes away." 20 minutes? I live 3 hours from his mom. And he always said that the distance is what makes it hard for her to be able to visit. Hard? Meanwhile, she's apparently over here very often. That's when I noticed something else. On the entry table, a photo from their wedding. And I swear to you, it was the same venue style as mine. Of course, different location, but the same aesthetic, same color palette. He has a type. And apparently, that type is consistency. So I walked further into the house and I seen a long hallway wall covered in like framed milestones. The engagement party, baby shower, birth announcements. And I felt this wave hit me because while I was over here thinking that I was building a life with him, he was building a way more complete one somewhere else. There was history on those walls. And then, of course, again, she said something that made my stomach flip. My in-laws were just there for Thanksgiving. But last year, he told me that his parents were sick and didn't want to travel for Thanksgiving. I spent Thanksgiving alone. Alone. Because my husband was with his parents. And he was. Just not with me. So now I'm standing, realizing that I wasn't part of 2 equal lives. This one had way more roots. This one had family integration. Like they were way more integrated with everything. This one had the child that obviously just meant so much to him. And again, made me feel even more like I was the side wife, which is insane because legally, we both are wives. But emotionally, he invested very different. And then we heard his voice from upstairs, casually calling her name. And she looked at me and said, he probably thinks you're at home. The irony, right? And I asked her, does he have an office here? She nodded. And of course, he has one in my house too. She walked me down the hall to his office. And there it was. And again, the second that I stepped inside to that office, it felt like the main home. This was his base. Filing cabinet, locked drawers, there was a wall calendar with handwritten notes. And here's what made my chest tighten. The calendar had color-coded dots on it. Blue and green. Blue trips, green trips. She said, blue means travel. So I swallowed and I said, what about green? And she just stared at it and said, family time. And of course, those blue dots lined up perfectly with the dates that he was with me. And of course, the green dots lined perfectly with the days that he was there. So I wasn't random, I was scheduled systematically. And then she walked up to the filing cabinet and unlocked it. And inside were folders, taxes, insurance, mortgage paperwork, a life insurance policy. My vision blurred. Primary beneficiary, her. Contingent beneficiary, their daughter. Not me. I'm not even listed on anything, which means financially, legally, everything ties there. And of course, that realization hit that if something happens to him, I'd have nothing. Because, of course, in whatever paperwork does exist, I don't. So then we heard footsteps coming down the hallway, and they kept coming closer. So she panicked and told me, you need to hide. Hide. In my husband's house. So I stepped into a small laundry room and pulled the door slightly closed. And I listened. He walked into the office, shuffled around some papers, and then he paused. And then I heard him say something that made my blood turn cold. I was so nervous. He said, did you move anything in here? And she answered steady, politely, no, why? And he was quiet for a second. And then he said that something felt off to him. And as I mentioned before, he's not sloppy. He is meticulous, which means that if we do confront him, he's going to be prepared.
No cap. This explains a lot on how he was able to pull this off. Goodness. It's a different wind in the room. He's just like,
I bet he would have seen her jumping out that closet coming.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. This kind of get a little creepy. This is getting scary. I don't think. I mean, eventually, I'm assuming she told him. But if I'm in this moment, I would think he would unalive me, and just for finding out because he just too. It's just too well planned out, and just too like it just it's sad. It's sad. It's crazy. Like, what would you do? I bet you ain't nobody watching this video has ever been through something like this. Not even close. We've seen double live stories, but this type of story where he is married to two people in two different places and able to get away with that for so long. But look how he was able to do it. See, me, I probably would have mixed the marriage papers up and gave y'all the wrong ones or something. Like, I'd be so fucked up. Like, I could have pulled this off for more than 30 days.
The fact that, he has these documents about what they say, life insurance or something like that. I wouldn't even trust it because he's so got divorce papers, marriage documents, all this stuff that's just like, is it even true with the life insurance stuff, or does he just got that put away too? And got the same one for her as well. I wouldn't trust none of these papers, honestly.
He just got them laying out. That's how he knew they was in his room. Like, girl, what is you doing? You put that shit back. He probably got stuff numbered and just how he better than me at this because I would have failed the first 30 days.
And if his mom knows, who else does? Because you just don't maintain 2 marriages for 6 years with no one else knowing. And as I stood there in the laundry room trying not to breathe too loud, I heard his phone buzz and he said out loud, "Oh, it's her." Her. And my phone lit up at the exact same time. Incoming call from my husband while I'm hiding in his other house. Part 7, that's when I answer. And what he says on the call changes the entire direction because suddenly he is so suspicious. And I don't think that we're the only ones who've been investigating. So I'm standing in this tiny laundry room, door barely cracked, heart pounding so loud that I'm convinced he can hear me through the walls. And my phone is lighting up in my hand, his name on the screen, calling me while he's only 10 feet away in another house with his wife, his other wife. So I swipe and I try to keep my voice as low as possible without causing suspicion. And I just say, "Hey, babe." And then his voice, way too calm. And he just says, "Hey, what are you up to?" What am I up to? "Sir, hiding in your laundry room?" But I say, "I'm just at home cleaning up a little bit. How was your flight?" He said it was fine. Alabama is exhausting. Alabama? I hear a cabinet door close in the other room. Then he says something that makes my stomach twist. "You sound weird. Is everything okay?" Now I'm panicking internally. Do I sound weird? Am I breathing too loud? So I forced like a little laugh and I just said, "I'm fine. I'm just tired." Another pause. Then he said, "You didn't go anywhere today, did you?" And that question didn't feel casual. It felt like he was fishing for something. So I keep my tone light. "Where would I go?" And he just says, "I don't know. You tell me." And my heart drops into my feet, of course, because suddenly this doesn't feel like a coincidence. This feels like suspicion and instinct, like he senses something. And then I hear something that makes everything worse. Footsteps. Closer and closer. He's walking down the hallway toward the laundry room. And I can see the handle from where I'm standing in the laundry room. And I quickly say, "I actually have something on the stove. Can I give you a call back?" And he doesn't answer me immediately. Instead, he slowly says, "Yeah, call me back in a bit. Not sure, not love you, just that." And then he hangs up. The footsteps stop. Silence. And I am frozen. The handle doesn't move, but he's right outside of the door. I know it because I can feel it. You know that feeling when someone is standing on the other side of something? Like that energy shift? It was that. Then I hear him walk away, back towards what I'm guessing is his living room. I exhaled so hard, I almost cried. And then she texts me from the other room. He just asked her if she talked to anyone today. So now he's checking both sides, which means he probably feels the shift. And here's the thing about someone who can manage 2 lives for years. They are observant, they can read tone changes, and they track patterns. And we just disrupted the pattern. So now the energy changes. This isn't just us investigating him. He's starting to now investigate us. And she walks into the laundry room very quietly, and she whispers that he's on edge. So I just nod. Because now the power dynamic feels different. Before, we had the secret. Now, he might sense it. And then she said something that made me so terrified. He just turned on the security app. Security app? I didn't even know that there was one. Apparently, he has cameras outside, doorbell cam, and a garage cam. And if he decides to check the footage from earlier, he's going to see my car in their driveway.
Why does this dude sound like that character off that movie we was watching, like the episode we used to watch, You? You ever watched the show You? Is this Joe? Are y'all dating Joe? What the hell? This is terrifying. I feel scared. Like I'm in the closet with her. I'm like, damn, just bust out and just hit his ass at this point.
I'm trying to figure out why we're all scared. So she went into the house knowing he was there, right? And then you parked your car in front of their house. Like,
of course he got cameras.
Do you know he can look out the window and see your car? You don't think he's gonna be like, that's her car?
That's what blew me. So he went in the house while he was in the house?
What?
Or was he not in the house and he just came in the house?
He was upstairs the whole time when she went in the house.
This must be a big ass
And then
house.
I also want to mention, when people got other people involved in their life and like, let's say they're cheating and they're messing with somebody else and that person has an attitude, now that energy that they had, that little scuffle, is going to transfer over to the next relationship. So it's like, of course he's tense now because his other wife is acting weird. So the whole time she's like, why is he acting so tense?
He been reading y'all. Dang, he been profiling y'all for so long. Oh my goodness, he can tell.
I'm just like, what was the logic behind all of this? If you didn't want him to know that y'all both knew, why did this escalate this far? Why go to the airport? Why follow them? Why still be on the phone?
They must be some very like copy paste type of women. Like they just do the same thing every single day or something. Because what a tonality change is what gave it away that you know that he has another wife is crazy. That is, y'all dealing with a serial killer. I'm not gonna lie to you. That dude sounds like somebody who kills people. And what was he doing in Alabama? He got a side chick or something? I'm pretty sure it's never worked.
That's why he wasn't even in Alabama. He's telling one girl another, the other one something else. And I'm really confused. So he sent both of y'all a message saying, oh, I'm going to come back from my visit on this day. And so why are you guys both at the airport? That's right. What I'm just really confused on. Like, so did he know that he messed up and what? Send both of y'all the same message?
And then, yeah, remember she said something about him she thought he was coming to her house. And then, you know, they were trying to figure out, because he done told both of them that he was coming to their house the next day. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck was he at out of town? He got another girl anyways. Y'all need to figure that out. I think he got another woman out there. But anywho, when he came back, he told both of y'all he was coming to y'all house that day. And you telling me he saw you, he looked past you and seen his wife and smiled, and you was there the whole time, he didn't notice you? It just seems a little fishy. You know, it's just like, what you wearing, like a hat? Like a disguise? Like,
that's what I would expect him to have been like, oh, like, are you waiting for me at the airport? To the other wife, at least. Y'all both playing like, oh, I don't know who he's going to come to. So he just, what? Like, I'm so confused. There's so many things that's probably been left out.
They really playing with Joe. I'm telling you, this is Joe. They playing, but this is serious, bro. This is serious. This is scary.
I didn't even get this far. Like, if you're going to leave, then just leave. What is the being Nancy Drew? Like, what are we doing here?
Went inside the serial killer's house. Jesus.
So now we're on a time crunch before he's able to review it. And my phone buzzes again, but it's not him. It's a text from his mom, my mother-in-law. And she never texts me, ever. And the message just says, hey, sweetheart, is everything okay? That's it. No context. But the timing, definitely not random. So now I'm standing in this house, realizing something very uncomfortable. If he senses something and his mom texts me at the exact same time, this might be bigger than we thought. Because what if he didn't just build two lives? What if he built a system? And systems have backups and allies. So now we have a decision to make. Do we confront him tonight and risk him flipping the narrative first? Or do we leave quietly? Act normal and start gathering proof in a way that he won't see coming. Because one thing is clear now, he is not going to crumble easily. And what we find on the security app in part 8 changes who the real target is or was the entire time. And I promise you, it wasn't just about love. After that text from his mom, after he hung up on me, after that weird stretched out call me back in a bit, we did not move because the energy in that house changed. He felt it, we felt it. And then she whispered, he opened the security app. I was terrified. Not because of the driveway footage, but because of what that meant. He doesn't check cameras casually. He checks them when something feels off. So she opens the app too. And the first thing we see is the driveway camera. Clear angle, clear timestamp. My car sitting there for 42 minutes. 42. That's not a quick stop. That's not an accident. That's evidence. And I immediately think he's going to rewind it. He's going to zoom in. He's going to screenshot it because men who manage 2 marriages for years don't just hope for the best. They prepare for collapse. So she scrolls back through the past couple days and something starts to feel strange, not dramatic, just intentional. He doesn't just have cameras facing outward. He has one in the garage facing the door to go inside the house from the garage, and another above the side gate, and one angled towards the street. Not for packages, not for burglars, for movement, for tracking comings and goings. And then she clicks on the saved clips. And this is where it shifts because the clips aren't random. They're labeled by date with short notes. Arrived later than expected. Left without notice. Unplanned stop. Unplanned stop. Suddenly, my brain connects something from earlier. Remember in part 7 when he asked me, "You didn't go anywhere today, did you?" That wasn't casual. That was verification. He tracks patterns. So when a pattern shifts, he checks. And then she clicks on one from a few months ago. It's her pulling into the driveway at 8:57 p.m. And you hear his voice faintly on the recording, home later than usual. Not angry, not yelling, just documenting. Like he's collecting timestamps. And I feel my chest tighten because that tone is the same tone he used with me when I'd say, I'm going to stop and grab coffee after work. Who were you with? Why so late? Always framed as like a concern, never control until you see this. So now I'm not thinking 2 wives, I'm thinking monitoring. And then something else happens. There's a tab called Archive. She didn't even know it was there. It requires a separate code. And she hesitates, of course, because what if he gets a notification that someone accessed it? We're done. But she tries the same exact passcode she used to get in to the security app. And it opens. And inside are not clips from this week. Not this month. Not even this year. Older. And the first few are normal. Holiday footage, random driveway stuff. But then there's one from before I existed, before the daughter was born. And it's a woman standing on their porch, this porch of the house we're in. Different car in the driveway, different decor, but the same house, same camera angle. And the audio catches like raised voices, her voice, not his. She's saying, "You told me you were divorced." And his voice was calm, of course, probably too calm. "You're being dramatic," he says. And then the clip cuts off after like 18 seconds. That's it. No resolution. No ending. Just silence. So I look at her. She looks at me. Because neither of us recognizes that woman. And that's when it clicks. This house didn't start with her. She's been here 6 years. But that clip is older, which means there was someone before her.
I'm having a hard time understanding how are you in the house and your car's in the driveway and you're dealing with a serial killer like this. This dude is really checking cameras and you're just how big is this house, please? Please, I just gotta know this because I clearly have never seen a house this big where you could pull into the driveway and we did not notice you. What? He was in the house the whole time and it has cameras everywhere. He got cameras on your shit. And you left and he knew you left, but he never thought to tie to her. He trusts her more. But it don't even make sense. It just doesn't even make sense. Like what is going on here? Just get out the closet and tell him you're giving me a faint heart attack. Like this is getting intimidating. Like what is going on? I've never heard nobody in this type of situation. Like
Yeah, my whole thing is why is she still in the house? At this point,
how long has this been?
Are you hiding until tomorrow to talk about this? But
I mean, at this point,
but I can see what do people say? It's like when they flipping on somebody else. I can't think
this
of it
dude is
right
a
now.
master manipulator. I give you that. No way.
But like, yeah, that's probably why he got all these cameras on y'all. If he could not like live a double life, I'm pretty sure he thinks maybe she could cheat. If he could have a whole nother wife, maybe it's a possibility that either of y'all could go out and get a boyfriend. So that's why he's keeping tabs on y'all because he's gone so much. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm gone 2 times out of a month, like 2 weeks out of a month, I'm watching to see what you're doing too. Not on no stalker stuff, but just to be like, are you okay? You
It's stalker. You could just ask, you know, you could really just ask.
Could I?
I mean, if you gotta watch, what y'all even together for at this point? Like, if you were with somebody and they got cameras on you and you ain't even know. I mean, did she not know she had cameras? Or did she don't have cameras?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're like, oh, maybe for security reasons, but which I feel like is the case too, and he's just using it for other things as well.
I want to know what the mother know. I really want to know what his mom like. What's her role in this?
I don't think
was she at her wedding too? Like, this is crazy.
I don't think it's no different than when people are teenagers and then the little boy keeps bringing around other girls. That mom's not gonna be like, oh, who's that girl? Who's this girl? Who's that girl?
Nah, mama was in the wedding twice, I believe. That's crazier than just dating some people and be like, oh, I'll stay out of that too. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But marriage, oh, son, I'm telling on your ass, bro. This is crazy. I don't want nothing to be doing with this. They're going to be doing story times about how we was involved with it. Like, the mom is the real villain too. You got to watch her too. She probably created the system, if you're honest. She probably gave him the advice he needed to finish it. I was wondering how he was able to pull this shit off. The whole time he has a woman in his ear, you know?
Son, you need 2 wives. That one wife is not enough for you, my king.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And she whispers that she thought she was first. And suddenly the timeline expands, not sideways, like a lock. And suddenly the timeline expands, not sideways, backward. And that's worse. Because now we're not just talking about how many wives exist. We're asking how long this pattern has been running. And then my phone buzzes. It's his mom. Again. Call me when you can. That's it. No emojis, no warmth, just direct. And now I can't ignore it because earlier I saw her smiling in them wedding photos, involved, present. And now she's texting me on this exact night that something feels off to him. That's not coincidence. That's coordination. And then something even smaller, but worse, happens. He walks back into his office, and we hear a drawer open, a metal click, like a lock. And we heard him mumble. He says something like strange, like this is strange, strange. And I got a little scared. My body kind of went cold because meticulous men don't say strange unless something moved. And we moved. We touched things. We breathed differently. We disrupted a system that runs on strict predictability. So now this isn't about confronting him. It's about surviving the fact that he might already know. And as I'm getting ready to leave the house quietly, I glance up near the hallway ceiling and I seen something that I missed before. A small black dome, an indoor camera, not pointed at the door, not pointed at valuables, pointed at the hallway, pointed at the laundry room, pointed at where I was hiding. And suddenly I realized something terrifying. We were watching him, but he might have been watching us too. And if that's true, then he knows, or at least suspects. And the question isn't how many wives are there? The question now is, what does he do when one of them figures out? Part 9, that's when I find out what happened to that woman in the old clip. Because I finally search her name. And what I find isn't divorce records. It's something else. And I wish I hadn't looked. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was scared, because I was thinking a lot about that clip. 18 seconds, a woman on the porch, different car, different life, same house, same camera angle, same calm voice telling her she was being dramatic. And here's the thing about being told you're dramatic. It only works if you're isolated. So the next morning, I texted her, the other wife, the one we just left from. And I said, we need her name. Because if there was someone before you and someone before me, then this didn't start with us. And she didn't want to look. I could tell. Because if there was a woman before her, that means she wasn't special either. She wasn't the beginning. She was just next. But she goes into the archive again while he's in the shower, scrolls back further, finds a saved clip from 8 years ago. And this time, the label isn't a timestamp. It's a name, just a first name, Danielle. So now we have something. I search Facebook first, too many. Instagram, too many. So I add the city, then I narrow it by age range, and then I see her. Same face from the porch clip, same haircut, same build, but her profile hasn't been updated in years. Her last post, 6 years ago. And the caption says, sometimes walking away is the only way to survive. That's it. No follow-up and no comments. And I scroll and scroll and scroll. And then I find wedding photos from 9 years ago. Different venue than mine, different venue than hers. But guess who's officiating? Same man, same smile, and then my stomach drops because that means this isn't random. This is patterned. So I look for divorce records. Nothing, obviously. But I do find something else. A court filing. 3 years after her last post. A civil case filed against him for fraud, and it was dismissed. Dismissed. No details, no outcome, just closed. And then I realized he doesn't just lie emotionally, he prepares legally. He had fake divorce decrees ready for us. He had life insurance set up strategically. He tracks movements. He archives footage. He documents tone changes. Men who do that don't get blindsided by accusations. They counter them. And now I'm thinking, how do we confront him? I'm thinking, how did Danielle lose? Because if she tried to expose him and it got dismissed, that means he had proof or leverage or something. So I message her, and I don't accuse. I don't explain everything. I just send, "Hi, I know this is strange, but were you married to," and I'd tell her his name. I expected nothing, but 2 hours later, she responds. Just one sentence. "How did you get this number?" My hands start shaking because that's not denial, that's fear. So I tell her very briefly, there are 2 of us. We saw a clip. We think there were 3. And she doesn't respond for a long time. And then she sends, "Do not confront him." Not "I'm sorry," not "you're right," not "he lied." Just do not confront him. And I swear my chest tightens because that's not the response of someone embarrassed. That's the response of someone who learned the hard way. So I ask her, why? And she types, stops, types again, stops, finally sends, because he doesn't panic when he's exposed. He restructures. Restructures? What does that even mean? And then she sends one more message. He'll already be 3 steps ahead of you. 3 steps ahead. And that phrase echoes in my head because, like I said in previous parts, he felt the shift. He sensed something was off. He checked the cameras. He called both of us. He looped his mother in. That's not scrambling. That's assessment. And then
Yep. Hate to say it, but it's probably already too late. I'll give it to you though. You're not the modern type of woman. That man would have been challenged as soon as you first had the conversation with that woman. I admire your patience because you're clearly dealing with a serial killer. And I'm gonna keep saying it, allegedly. I gotta say allegedly because I don't know who the fuck he truly is, but he got to be somebody serious. Because no way in hell he's already restructuring. I mean, I don't know. We about to figure out how it ended, but if she's still with this man at the end of this video, I'm going to be sick to my stomach. I'm not going to feel anything after that because he's still married to a woman who's not even in the picture. Like, I'm trying to figure out how's he pulling off all these marriages, and who is this little dude who's marrying them all, or this pastor that's really going to hell? Why is he like? Is no. This just sounds evil. You married the devil. It just sounds like you're marrying the devil.
I'm just so in shock. It's just like, so how do you approach him? Do you approach him with the divorce papers? I'm pretty sure.
Approach him with the police. He sounds dangerous as hell.
Because, I mean, at this point, it's like, okay, I just discovered he's cheating on me.
Break up with him through the message. Divorce him through message, text mail, email him it. Shit. That's what I would do. Would you tell somebody like that up front to their face? You damn near ready to just
leave. He honestly just sounds like a strategic cheater.
Sounds like a murderer.
He hasn't knocked anybody off. I mean, probably financially. I mean, granted, you guys are married and he probably took everything out of your bank account or whatever the case may be.
How would you know? How would we know if he knocked anybody else?
The other girl just responded to her.
What about the one before her?
That's the one that we're talking about.
I'm talking about the one before her. It's many of them.
But I'm like, it's like somebody they're not knocked off. They're just in hiding.
And when we say knocked off, we mean killed. We mean unalive, murdered. Like, I believe he's killing people. You cannot. And then it's just like, what's up with all the mind games? Oh, like he's just gonna rewire some things. Girl, give me the scoop. Right, because now she starting to sound like that movie. Now she sound like the girl who was dating Joe. That one was crazy. That was crazy.
Are you in on it too?
Right. Like, is it a box downstairs in your house with a woman in it? Because what is going on? Like, what part of leave didn't you get? Like, if God couldn't give you a bigger red flag, he's literally just handed you the biggest flag out here. And just see what she do with it. She just started waving it and just chilling with it. Like, no, you supposed to took that flag and get the hell on.
I think she just hyping it up. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be scared of somebody like this. If he got all this footage, dude, you telling on yourself. Like, you is not bigger than the FBI. If you can record yourself doing some crime, sir, I am not worried about you.
might be the FBI. What the hell are you talking about? Nah, women, don't do that. All right, now she with somebody who she's safe with. She gonna say some safe shit. But in reality, you better go. You better move. You better pack up that bag. You better get the hell on. The hell, divorce him through email.
What they approach him with the divorce papers.
You don't even got to approach him.
Have him served or something like. What are we doing here? We're hiding in closets and following him. He can get you on that. Because why are you following? Like, what was the point? I'm just like, what was the point?
I swear I thought she was about to say the other woman was unalived. We found her death certificate.
And then it's like, then I met them at the airport and followed them. I don't know if y'all been in the airport. You and the girl must have parked close together or something because I would have been lost them at the airport.
She kind of low-key just as crazy as him. Like, damn, a normal, sane person would have got the hell up out of there, man. She's doing a lot of deep diving into this. Like,
girl, just leave.
I think she attached. Because, you see, I like her. You know how she was like, she's not the winner either? I feel like the reason why she ain't said nothing yet because she's accepted herself as the loser. And the other girl did kind of win in that moment. But now she's, like, happy again. Like, oh, yes, it was somebody else before her. So now you're not the winner either. Like, y'all went about the wrong shit.
Yeah, I feel, honestly, I know y'all hate when we just, like, talk about what we think is going to happen, but I think they're just both going to stay with him.
I don't give a fuck with y'all.
I think they're both just going to stay with him at the end of the day because we made it this far. Like I said, I would have been blew up the spot saying, what are you doing?
Right, and if everybody in the comment section would be like, y'all be talking too much, that's why we talk longer now. So we'll blame it on them. Yep, we going to talk longer.
It's like, if they were so scared, why you ain't approach them in public? When, I didn't want to say it in public. That was your chance. His wife is right there. You're right there. Police is everywhere. That was the safest spot for you to say something.
That's why I say I think she got a little bit of cuckoo in her too, because every crazy person got a crazy partner, man. I'm telling you, she got to be one of them because she ain't doing normal things right now. This ain't normal. She's sticking around to see the plot, and that's dangerous.
Danielle sends something that makes everything click. A screenshot of a text from him from years ago after she confronted him. And it said, I'm disappointed you chose chaos. I tried to protect you. Protect? That word. He always frames control as protection. Checking phones, tracking schedules, asking who you're with. It's never jealousy. It's I worry about you. And now I'm starting to understand something terrifying. He doesn't see wives. He sees variables, schedules, assets. He rotates. He documents. He monitors. And when something destabilizes, he doesn't explode. He reorganizes the system. So now the real question is, how many women are left? And why haven't any of them warned the next one? So I asked Danielle one last thing. Why didn't you say anything publicly? And she replied that he made sure no one would believe her. And that's when I remember something so small, tiny, but important. Over the years, when anyone online accused him of something, ex-girlfriend, a coworker, he always had receipts, screenshots, emails, clips, some type of proof. And he always looked calm, reasonable, rational. And they always looked emotional, unstable. And now I'm realizing maybe those weren't random accusations. Maybe they were attempts, and he buried them with documentation. So now I'm sitting there realizing we didn't just uncover cheating, we discovered a system designed to survive exposure. And if Danielle is right, he already knows something shifted, which means we're not just gathering proof, we're on borrowed time. Because if he restructures when he's threatened, then someone gets moved or removed. And part 10, that's when he makes a move. Not loud, not dramatic, but subtle enough that we haven't even been paying attention. Well, if we hadn't been paying attention. But subtle enough that if we hadn't been paying attention, we would have missed it. And that's when I realized he wasn't just monitoring us. He was testing which one of us he needed to let go. Let me explain something first. He didn't switch houses overnight. He rotated in weeks. 2 weeks with her, then he'd tell her he had extended work travel. That's when he'd come home to me. 1 week, sometimes 2. Then he would tell me he has another contract starting, and he would go back to her. It wasn't chaotic. It was scheduled. So when I left her house after hiding in the laundry room, he stayed there for 5 more days. And then right on time, I got the text. Boarding now. Miss you. And when he walked into my house, he did not look stressed. He did not look nervous. He looked calm, like nothing in this world has shifted. That's when I knew that something was wrong, because we were spiraling, comparing notes, finding old footage, and he was steady. That week with me, he was different, attentive, overly attentive, cooking dinner, talking about our future, bringing up buying more property together. He even suggested therapy out of nowhere. 5 years now, never once mentioned it. Now suddenly he wanted us to work on communication. It felt sweet at first, then it felt planned. 3 days into that week, he left for a meeting. I went into his office, not the obvious drawer, not the hard drive, the back of the filing cabinet. And that's when I found out there was a black folder. Very thick, very heavy, not hidden carefully, just pushed behind other paperwork. It didn't say strategy. It didn't say anything official, just one word. Back up. Back up. And I sat on the floor before I opened it because something in my body already knew. First few pages were notes about us, about both of us, observations. Things like she reacts strongly when she feels concerned. She values independence. She worries about public perception. Not loving notes, not memories, assessments, like he had been studying us. And then there were pages about if things change, not if things go wrong, if things change. Ideas about moving, about separating finances gradually, about reframing conversations. Reframing. Like arguments weren't arguments, they were narratives. And then I seen something that made my chest tighten. A lease in another city, not ours, mine or the wife. We live very close. Start date 2 months from now, which means while we were figuring out the truth, he was figuring out a version of life without us. And tucked behind it, email confirmation, a dating profile, active, updated recently, while he was rotating between our homes. And that's when it hit me. The weeks weren't about balancing 2 marriages. They were about making sure that he was never without one.
I think this is like common for some people where they just can't be alone. So of course he's coming in there casually, like nothing's wrong. I mean, it sounds like he has plenty of money. At the end of the day, when you're with somebody, I feel like it changes drastically more for the woman or whoever ends up with the kids. So if you're the man and gets the kids after the split, or the mom, obviously your life is going to change more. But this man, he's already thinking, I'm about to get my new spot, got this dating online, I'm just going to get me a girlfriend. Of course he's not worried. What I got to be worried about? Bye. Like,
I don't know. Does she ever say what does he do for a living?
he has contracts. Like I don't
Is
know.
that real? I thought that was fake. I thought
Like
he was lying about that.
Fills out some contracts.
He has to be doing something like that though. And maybe that
Yeah.
wasn't the lie. Maybe that wasn't the lie at
That's
all.
what I'm
But
like.
damn.
This man literally has nothing to worry about. That's what I'm like. When people cheat and then decide to get married and then have affairs, you had that choice. You chose to do that when you can literally be single and be a bachelorette, which he's going to do once you guys catch him.
But listen, this is the evil mentality behind it, though. He knows that he can do that. All men know that they can do that. But you know the difference between having women that are your wives and women who are not your wives just living in these places? Women who are your wives have a sense of entitlement. You can kind of get them to do more. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of get more loyalty out of them. Women who are not your wives and they know that you got multiple women, they're going to play their role, but men know that they're out here just sleeping around and doing whatever they want to do. A woman that you're just dating and stuff, they probably won't be cool with you putting cameras up and, coming around. I don't know. They maybe not. You take a risk when you do those things because they also out here giving it away to probably anybody that'll pay the tab, so you got to strategically do this. So I believe that's why he married her at the end of the day, and why he's trying to fake marry all of these women, because it's more control with marriage. And that's why I tell y'all, don't let these titles fool y'all. Just because if a person shouldn't get better because you're married. You should just be better before y'all get married. You shouldn't be, oh, once we get married, then I'll start treating you like a husband. Because this is what men use against you. That's why they married you. Oh, because you said you wasn't going to do none of this shit until I put that ring on your finger. So here you go.
And now he's out having affairs. So.
Right. Now I'm going to go do what I'm already going to do, because I know you're going to sit here and just be playing that I'm his wife. I'm his wife. All of y'all are side chicks. But little do you know, it's all of his wife.
So now it's just not cheating. Now it's called affair.
Now it really is a system. That's how you built the system. I'm not saying it's a smart way to build the system, but mentally you got to think about it. He owns something.
That's why I'm like, this guy is not Joe. He is just a strategic cheater.
Yeah. We would call him a serial cheater. Goodness gracious.
And in the margin of 1 page, 2 columns. My initial, her initial. Under mine, more independent, stronger outside support. Under hers, family ties, child connection. It wasn't emotional. It was practical. He wasn't choosing who he loved more. He was thinking about who would be harder to leave. And that's when I realized something that would be harder to deal with than cheating. I wasn't part of a love triangle. I was part of a backup plan. So I put everything back how it was, closed the cabinet, sat on the couch, and when he came home that night, he kissed me like always, asked how my day was, and for the first time, I realized he wasn't afraid of losing me. He was already preparing for it. Part 11, that's when I stopped trying to understand him and started preparing for him. He expected tears. He didn't expect silence. After I found that folder, I did not confront him. That's what he would have prepared for. A breakdown, an argument, me demanding answers in the kitchen. That's the version of me that he had studied, the emotional one. the reactive one, the one he had notes on. So instead, I said nothing. I let the week finish. I let him rotate back to her on schedule. He packed his bag, kissed me goodbye, told me he'd miss me. And as soon as his car pulled away, I called her. Not to cry, not to spiral, to decide. Because now we understood something clearly. He doesn't scramble when things fall apart. He adjusts before they do. So if we're going to do anything, we had to move forward before he could adjust again. And this time, we compared everything, not just stories, details, dates, messages, insurance documents, bank statements, signatures. And the more we lined things up, the less it looked like chaos and the more it looked intentional. The policies he took out, they weren't identical. They were different amounts, different structures, different priority orders. He wasn't just maintaining 2 marriages, he was managing outcomes. And then she said something that made everything click. He told her that if anything were to happen, she'd be taken care of. Taken care of. He told me that too. Same tone, same reassurance, same script. And that's when we did something he never expected. We both sat down with someone who understands the documents. We didn't file anything. We didn't accuse him. We just asked, does this look normal to you? And when I showed mine, the response wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. This doesn't look right. Not explosive, just steady. And that's when something shifted inside me again. Up until now, this felt like betrayal. Now it felt like confirmation. So we made a decision. We weren't going to confront him emotionally. We were going to stop reacting altogether. Because, like I said, men who build systems like this, they rely on emotion. Emotion makes mistakes. Emotion gives warnings. Emotion tips them off. Silence doesn't. So we gathered everything, copies, photos, dates, comparisons, and we stepped back. No threats, no arguments, no dramatic shutdown. And then he made the mistake. Not a big one, a small one. He texted both of us the same night, within minutes of each other. And the message was almost identical. Long day, just thinking of how lucky I am. Copy, paste, rotate. She sent me the screenshot. Timestamp was 8:12 p.m. I looked at mine. 8:15 p.m. 3 minutes apart. For years, he thought the weeks protected him. They didn't, because now we were synced. And here's the part that really shifted everything. A few days later, he got a notification. Not from us, not from an argument, just a notification asking for him to confirm documents that were tied to his name or information that was tied to his name. And for the first time, he did not look calm. He called me almost immediately, voice steady, but thinner. Did you send something somewhere? He didn't say what. He didn't need to. I didn't deny it. I didn't accuse him. I just said, you built a backup. Silence. Long silence. And then he said something he's never said before. You don't understand. Not defensive, not angry, just unsettled. Because for the first time, he wasn't ahead. He wasn't adjusting. He wasn't managing tone. He was reacting. And that's when I realized something. He never felt like both of us would be in sync or understand at the same time. His system worked because we were isolated, separate, unaware, uncoordinated. But once we started comparing everything, the weeks stopped protecting him. The rotation stopped protecting him. The calm stopped protecting him. And now he knew something had shifted. Part 12, that's when the system finally collapses. And this time, he doesn't get to adjust. Part 12, the ending. And honestly, it didn't happen the way I thought it would either. So remember, the last thing that I told you was that I had seen everything. I knew what he had been planning. And instead of confronting him, instead of screaming or crying like he expected, I stayed completely silent. I didn't ask questions. I didn't accuse him. I didn't give him anything to react to. And the interesting thing about silence is that some people just don't know what to do with it or how to handle it. The next morning, he woke up like everything was normal. He was talking about work, about errands, about what we should do later that day. Normally, I would have answered him. I would have had a conversation like we always did. But that morning, I didn't. I just listened, calm, quiet. At first, he didn't notice anything, but eventually, he started to feel it. He would say something and then look over at me, waiting for a response. And when he didn't get one, he would fill the silence himself. You're quiet today. Are you okay? Did something happen? And every time he asked, I kept my answer very simple. Nothing. The thing about people who are hiding something, that silence makes them nervous. Because when you argue, they know exactly what they're defending themselves against. But when you say nothing, their mind starts to fill in blanks. By that afternoon, he was visibly uncomfortable. He kept trying to start conversations. Random things like, did you watch our show last night? You're acting different today. Are you tired or something? And every time he said something like that, I would just shrug. Maybe. Then finally, he couldn't take it anymore. He looked at me and he said, "You know something, don't you?" And the way he asked it, it wasn't confident. It was cautious. So I looked at him and I said something very simple. If I did, what would you say? And that was the moment everything shifted. Because suddenly, he didn't know how much I knew. He didn't know what I had seen. He didn't know if I had proof. And he didn't know what I was planning to do next. And for the first time, he was the uncomfortable one. And that's when I realized something. The person who cares the least in a situation usually holds the most power. And for the first time in a long time, that person was me. So I didn't fight. I didn't scream. I didn't even explain anything that I had discovered because I realized something very important. Some people expect chaos because chaos is easier to control. But calm makes them nervous. So instead of giving him the confrontation that he expected, I made my plan quietly. And when everything was ready, I walked away. And honestly, the silence said more than any argument ever could. Sometimes the loudest thing you can do is walk away without saying a word. And that is how the story ended. Now be honest. Would you have confronted him, or would you have stayed silent like I did?
I just want to say
What?
the answer to finding out that your man has another wife is to just kill him with silence.
I'm gonna say this calmly.
Like, what?
I want to say
So
something calmly
instead
myself.
of, I get it, like, plan your exit. I mean, that was just like, oh, okay, I'm just killing with silent treatment. But it's just like, what? Okay. But I definitely get it though. She, stayed silent and just played it cool so she can get that paperwork together. But I feel like a lot of people do this in relationships. They'll just, instead of just arguing, they're just like, be quiet and just let that relationship die out. Because then it's like, are you even feeling me anymore? Let's just break up. And I guess like in a divorce, whoever like gets a divorce started first.
Did she divorce him?
I'm assuming so.
Nah, she said she walked away. She said she walked away from that conversation. She didn't say divorce. She could have been like, yeah. Then we went on to a divorce. What's with the riddles? Like, are y'all still married?
I'm pretty sure he probably just got tired of the silent treatment and just left. It's that, because it's like, if you, I think like get the divorce started and you don't really have a reason, oh, it wasn't infidelity or whatever, then the wife gets more stuff, I want to say. Then if it was reversed, let me know if I'm wrong. Because that's how I'm seeing it. It's like, okay, he doesn't really have a reason to divorce her. So
whoever starts
has to give her something.
She got whoever starts it gonna handle all the fees and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he just got tired of the silent treatment and he just initiated it, like, F it. I got another wife anyway. So let's just get this started.
So the lesson of the whole story is just to be silent and calm. I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, when you have emotions, if you have emotions involved when you're getting divorced, they can be so dragged out.
But I don't think she got divorced. I personally don't think she got divorced.
I think so. I think, but if you guys both want to get this relationship over, that's gonna make the divorce go smoother. It's gonna be like, boom, this is a list. I'm gonna give you whatever you need. They've been married for some time, so you'll get spousal support. Here we go. Sign the papers. Go on our merry way. But if we're both arguing, we're gonna fight over the house. We're gonna fight over this. It's just gonna make the divorce way more dragged out.
He didn't make nobody sign prenups. Like, everybody just got married to him and got full rights to everything he has when he died. I highly doubt that. Something.
I mean, the other wife, he's told the other wife, you set up.
Right, but you got to think about it. How do we know it's legit? Like, she said it was legit. She checked the file, but the divorce decrees, like, who is the dude that's marrying everybody? Technically, isn't he the one that passes you over the marriage certificate, or have you sign papers for the marriage certificate? What if it was all just?
But yeah, that's why she
crazy.
had mentioned. She said that she had some papers like sent off to make sure that it was cool, and then he got the email about it. So whatever she solidified, I'm pretty sure had to do with that marriage and what in place with certain things before she went on with this.
I feel like we got left with a cliffhanger. I feel like we want to know what happened to the first wife. And did y'all leave him? Did y'all divorce him? You just said you walked away from that conversation silently and that killed him. But is he still alive? Is he still with you? Is he still with the other woman? Like, did he leave you? Because it's like he's about to leave her anyway. So it's like, did he officially just say, forget it, I'm going with the backup plan now? Like, it's all crazy. But at the end of the day, I do feel bad for her. This story is truly, like, it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but it's heartbreaking. I can see, if I'm in this position, how heartbreaking this could be. I just wouldn't have had the patience you had. Once you found out, it should have been, I know they say do better or worse, but like, we gotta specify that moving forward. Because what's worse? Like,
I mean, at this point, she already did the most, hiding in the laundry room. So she's like, oh.
And then never told us how
silence, but you just was hiding and following the airport. So
never told us how she even got out of that situation. Like, how did you get out the closet? Fuck it. At the end of the day, what are y'all thoughts when it comes to this story time? I'm not gonna lie, I loved how well organized and well planned out each chapter was, so we knew what we was getting into. I love when y'all do story times like that. That chef kiss, all right? But what are y'all thoughts? If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you very much. We appreciate you all for watching this story time with us. If you are interested in following this storyteller, maybe you want some updates that we ain't heard yet. This is kind of a fresh story, so maybe she will do updates in the future about it. You already know what to do. Y'all can check out the description box below and follow her on her TikTok account. But that's all we got, Messy Fam. We gonna move on to the next story time. But we appreciate you all for sticking through this one. Peace.